Greetings and salutations, everyone. This is Jason Bitbender Brink, and I am here with Nephilim Hops and Johnny from the Valley Ecosystem. This is our first, I think, is this our first actual LFG stream, Paul? Oh, you guys can't hear it. We have good Paul in the background as well. So he is in fact still real and came along with us, and we're getting ready to kick off some pretty cool stuff with the Valley Ecosystem. How you guys doing today?
Doing great. Doing great. How are you guys doing?
It is 2 a.m. here in Asia, and I stayed up extra late. Just actually, to be fair, I did take a nap because I woke up at 4 this morning. It was one of those days, but I am up here bright and squirrely in the early dawn to chat with you guys.
I feel like every time you're on an AMA, you have just gone through like 14 hours of travel and like 1 hour of sleep in the last week.
Dude, like last week, coming back from Token was, I think, the tiredest I've ever been, because I spent prior to Token, I was on there's KBW, and then I was on Necker Island for Isle AI, which was this really small AI conference on Richard Branson's island in the Caribbean, which was super cool. And Richard is like I guess Sir Richard, I should probably call him, given that he's a knight and all of that. He's probably one of the coolest people I think I've ever freaking met. He is so nice, so chill, really neat. But the unfortunate thing about the Caribbean is it happens to be on the exact total actual freaking other side of the planet from Singapore. And so I had to do like the whole planes, trains, and automobiles thing, except no trains, boats instead, to get from Necker to Tortola, then Miami, then Doha, then Singapore. It was 35 hours of travel. It was a total freaking nightmare. And then I got to my hotel in Singapore at like 10 o'clock in the morning, which of course is way too early to check in. And you know how when you travel, like if you travel for a long time, you just kind of get like travel ick, like everything you just gross. You just feel awful. And, I'm sitting downstairs at my hotel, just waiting for a room to open up, just hating everything. And Sebastian from the Sandbox shows up. He's like, "Hey, Jason." I'm like, "You stay away from me. I'm gross. Leave me alone." It was absolutely next level, insane, crazy. But it was an amazing experience, and I'm so glad to be back in a time zone that works well and isn't going to be changing 8 times over the next 2 weeks.
Man, that sounds really cool though.
Guaranteed he consumed energy drinks at a rate of about 0.3 per hour during the whole 36 whatever hour.
0.3 per hour? What do you think this is? 0.3 per hour? Dude, that's over 3 hours per energy drink. That's slightly less than 8 hours. 8 hours or 8 energy drinks per 24-hour period. Those are numbers. We got to push those numbers up.
Your cardiologist thanks you for your business.
Yeah, right. So, Johnny, tell me a little bit more about what you guys are doing. Now, you and I had the privilege of meeting in person when I hosted a little tiny gala get-together there a couple years back. And do you mind if I kind of dox you a little bit?
Go for it, yeah.
Yeah, so Johnny is known as Happy Valley Beacon in Discord. Everybody has seen him there. There is a little itty-bitty town in New York called Beacon. He has a bar arcade there called Happy Valley. It is one of the coolest places I think I've ever been. We had a great community get together. We had a bunch of people come from New York. when I learned that that he was there, and I was in New York for NFT NYC, I think. I don't know what I was doing there.
I think you were like
Um,
training people, you said, for something.
oh, that's right. It was that HR thing, giant air quotes. And I came there to see the setup, check out the location, and it was super freaking cool. And so now, fast forward a few years, Johnny has been working on doing some really cool cabinet-based sort of games to sort of bring blockchain gaming to almost retroing it a little bit, which is this beautiful mixture of retro and new with the blockchain and Web3 elements. I think it's totally cool. Can you tell them a little bit more about what you got going on, man?
Yeah, totally. And I really appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words for our space. We love it. We Beacon is really cool, and they've been great to us. We're like right in the middle of Main Street here, and we try to do like 15 events a month. But anyways, so Valley ecosystem, it's been in our brains kind of swirling around for probably 2-3 years now. And then about a year ago, we decided we needed to do this because someone else is going to if we didn't. It all kind of spawned from when we saw our younger patrons, like 21 to like 25, they were gravitating more towards the handful of newer indie arcade cabinets that we had. There's an awesome game called Kung Fu Kickball, Black Emperor, and a couple others. And we were doing some metrics and seeing like, man, these games were being played, way more than like Pac-Man or NBA Jam, about the same level as like DDR and pinballs, which pinballs, they're having a renaissance right now. So we noticed that like 2 years ago, and we we're like, we got to make our own indie arcade game. How cool would that be? So we started talking to all these developers. I've been dabbling in cryptos and for probably 6 years now. So that was kind of going in tandem in my brain. And then it kind of clicked one day thinking, well, why don't we have our own Web3 arcade cabinets? We put the games that we're developing, make them all arcade-based, high-score leaderboards, and then develop an ecosystem with a smart contract, and people can come in and try to get a little bit of that, glory of the 80s and 90s, really like late 70s through mid 80s when it was really big, where people are playing and they're waiting in line and there's a global leaderboard and they're actually earning. Let's try to make that happen. So we spent the better part of the last year doing just that, and it has been the most like humbling and exciting experience of my life so far. Everyone that we talk to is just like, yes, how can we make this happen? So we linked up with Fun Company, and they make the best arcade cabinets. Honestly, wasn't even sure if we were going to get in the door. They make cabinets for like Sega and Bandai Namco. If you go to Dave & Buster's or Round One, most of the games that are there are made by them, but they have a small indie section. And so we kind of pitched our idea, and they just said, there must have been like one guy or girl there who was into crypto, and they were just like, yeah, all right, we'll do this. So that was awesome. The cabinets are going to be beautiful, like top of the line, but we are going to make them in like indie retro style. So it won't look like, the new Jurassic Park game that like you sit in and is huge. It'll look like Pac-Man, but new. And actually ours is going to have a little UFO on top just to be special. But yeah, so then we started developing games. Our lead developer, Sharish, who is probably in the chat right now, and I have been working. Then we brought on a couple other developers. We have a small, like nimble team right now. There's less than 10 of us. There's 9 of us now. And we've been working for a year building these games. The most exciting thing, not the most exciting thing, but one of the most exciting things that I think a lot of people don't realize is that we're a publisher as well. We have been talking to about a dozen games that we're going to onboard here really soon, probably Q1 of 2025. We hope to have 100 games later in 2025 from just third-party titles, and then our first-party titles will obviously be on there as well. But that's kind of it in a nutshell.
That is super cool, man. I mean, one of the things that I love about what you're doing is, and actually, you know what? Before I say what I like, let me hear it from you first. What is sort of your ethos in terms of onboarding third party titles?
Yeah, that is a great question because that was the most important thing in the beginning for us. Because it kind of goes back to we hear from people in the arcade every day, and they have a lot of opinions, like a lot of opinions, which is great.
Gamers, that's weird, man, because gamers never have opinions, right? They don't share their thoughts or concerns about anything, especially when you intersect that with Web3. There's almost no opinions at all. They're quiet, meek, and retiring group.
That's yeah, everybody just knows that, right? That's
Yeah.
but yeah, you definitely know probably way more than I do. But it's the face to face. I'll get like, hey, Johnny, did you know that the new Elton John pinball game that you got? Like, I took my measuring tape out, and it's a Saturday night and we're packed, and I measured it, and it's like 0.01 millimeters off. And I'm like, I did not know that, but like, thank you. And then they'll be like, so you got to fix that right now. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I can right now, but we'll add it to the list.
That is the IRL equivalent of, please, can't the devs do something?
Yeah.
Why is your game broken? Yeah,
Totally.
I love it.
So we knew right away, we were like, all right, how can we do this without pissing off, to be blunt, the Web2 people? And it was just, let's make it as seamless as possible. So we decided that all the Valley games will be free to play. For third party titles, it'll probably be up to the third party if they want to be free or not. But all of our Valley titles will be free to play. We will not have any pay to win aspects. I think there's definitely a space for that. Especially like bigger like MMORPGs where you have like in-game economies. I think that's really cool. But for arcade style games,
for arcade, that's a whole different thing. I mean, other than insert quarter to try again. I mean, that's kind of the limit of that.
Totally, yeah. People would not be happy, and that's not the way we wanted to go with it. So there's going to be no pay to win aspects. All NFTs would be cosmetic in nature only, and every game, whether it's first or third party, is going to have Valley as its reward token. And again, like I know that's hard to do when you have a lot of games that are not arcade style, but it's kind of perfect for arcade style games. We've done a lot of research on this, and we believe that if we have hundreds of titles, which we are not only like planning on, but it's going to happen unless something unforeseen happens. But anyways, if you just have a couple of those as hits, like that's all you need. So we're going to have all of the games earning in Valley. Every time that you go to the arcade to play a game, you put in a quarter, or it's free to play, or it's a card system. How that's up to the venue operators. And from what we've talked to, they're all going to do it a little bit differently. That's fine. You have a transaction, an address that is created upon pressing the start button. And that's a really cool thing that our devs have worked out, which is awesome. So a Web2 person comes in, they play, Alien Influencer at our Valley cabinet. They start playing. They're already connected to the blockchain. They see that they are potentially earning something. They might not even understand what it is. And then at the end, the psychology of them seeing that they have this token, it's been like very powerful from some tests that then they want to keep it. So you might have someone who's like total aversion to Web3, but they go in and unbeknownst to them, they're playing and earning something. And then all they have to do is put in their email, and then they've created an account. They're on the blockchain, and they have Valley token already. That's how we're onboarding them, and that's how we made it as seamless as possible. Of course, there's going to be like many of us in here who know exactly what's going on, and that's not an issue. But I think to onboard those Web2 people, that was important to us.
Yeah, onboarding Web2 is hypercritical. With this, maybe I shouldn't get into the nitty gritty details or the weeds here, but return plays. Is there like a QR code that they can scan to tap to log in to resume your session, or some sort of
Yeah.
Some sort of, if that's not a question you can answer, that's totally fine. Tell me.
No, that's great. That's a great question. So that's what that Sharish and all of our devs are building out right now is the platform in the cabinet that will be the same, more or less the same for online, and there'll be multiple ways to log in, QR code, email. There's never going to be like you put in your seed phrase or anything like that in the cabinet because who wants to mess with that?
Come on. I can't. I do the pain of choosing 3 characters when you via magic place on a leaderboard. Which, by the way, I don't think I've ever done in an arcade game, ever.
Oh yeah,
ever. I'm terrible, terrible at arcade games.
I am really bad at every arcade game. We have a high score leaderboard. It's like up, and you win a free beer if you get on it. I am never made the top 10 on any of them except Frogger. I'm number 1. That's my one game. That's it for whatever reason.
That's something to aspire to, sir. Yeah. Something to aspire to.
That is respectable.
Speaking of Frogger, so Frogger is your one game. Neff, what's your game? What do you play, man?
I like the old Jurassic Park. Ooh. The Jurassic Park where you sat there, you had to shoot T-Rex. Played the heck out of Battletoads. And there's the Star Wars, which is the Star Wars one that has the 3 levels that maybe it's got a Hoth level and an indoor level. I've only seen it in 2 different places, and it was so cool. And reportedly one of them took it out because it was expensive to maintain or something. But
it's like I'm looking it up right now. I want to say it's like Trilogy or stuff.
Maybe.
Star Wars.
What is that top-down airplane one where you're flying? It's like something 1944 or something like that.
Shoot, not 1984, but yeah, that one's great.
Yeah, so for me, it's either that one or Gauntlet, like the old school Gauntlet.
Nice. Yeah, the old school Gauntlet's great. We have Gauntlet Legends, and that's a quarter eater. We also have the Jurassic Park gun game, which sadly just broke, so that's down right now. And the only part in the galaxy is like it takes like a year to get here. But that 1971 maybe. No,
something like that. Where I think it's probably 70 something because you're fighting helicopters and giant flying airships and shit like that.
Yeah, that one's greid.
Team Cranebot says Simpsons. Fun fact, that's the only arcade that I've actually beat the entire thing. I don't know how many, $20, whatever, but with a couple friends just put it in and beat the whole thing, and that was it. It's the only one I've fully beaten.
Yeah, all those
that's a commitment, right? Like beating an arcade game is a significant commitment. Ooh, Subspace just DM'd me. Time Pilot.
Yes. There is another game that's like 19 something though, but Time Pilot.
Yeah, Time Pilot is definitely the one I was thinking of.
That you're thinking of. Simpsons and all those like Konami beat 'em up games. I think it's Simpsons, X-Men, and of course the other one, Turtles and Turtles in Time. Those are all Konami, and those do really well. They still do well. Yeah, and we actually, I can't show any of the third-party titles that we're talking to just yet, but we've got an awesome beat 'em up side scroller in that same vein, and the high score leaderboard is like somewhat going to be based off of your combo, which is really cool. Also with like some other functions, but that's a cool one. And then we have a really cool, similar to like Time Pilot game that we're talking to. Man, it's been so cool to like even just like test out all these games.
I think there's a potential future as well in terms of talking to some of these apps that have been built for phones that would be fairly easily ported over to cabinets. I think honestly.
Yeah, because our whole goal here is with the publishing side of things, making it also as seamless as possible. I think that's like kind of my job, and our devs have been phenomenal at this. Is like whatever we want to implement, I'll say how can we make this as seamless as possible, and then they'll make it awesome, and I'll be like, can we get this a little bit more intuitive, and then they'll do it. So like I think that's kind of the key, because for the last couple of years, most people in this space, Web3 space, kind of realize like that's one of the biggest barometers is onboarding, and like to crypto, is for some reasons people just don't understand it, or they're looking at the scams, which do exist. I feel like less and less. But I think it's the onboarding process is the number one thing. It's like sometimes I'll talk to like a friend and they'll say, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And then they're like, but wait, how do I have to log in with a wallet, with seed phrase? Yeah. And so that's what we focused on first. And we think we nailed it. So we'll see.
So you guys have a node that is going to be released for this. Now, you and I have brainstormed about how this is going to work, but I don't know exactly what you landed on because I've been, running all over the freaking planet doing crazy stuff. What is the model that you have going for that?
In terms of the workload, it's going to start off really light. It's going to be like the global high score leaderboard tracker on the blockchain. And then eventually we do want that to run the games as well, which the games will all be somewhat light. So that'll be really cool. And then in terms of the like kind of details for the node sale, so yeah, actually it starts here in less than 40 minutes for the whitelist. We were kind of selective and like didn't do a bunch of whitelist promotion. For it's like a little strategic there, but we've got some like 4 p.m. Eastern time until it's almost a 6-hour window. So once the whitelist starts in 38 minutes, it'll be 5 hours and 50 minutes, and then after that it'll be the public sale, which starts 10 p.m. Eastern time. So you can do the conversion. They'll start at $300, and if you have the whitelist, it's 10% discount. Also, really important to us is we wanted to try like a really unique referral system here. So I think it was in one of the LFG meetings, and I was talking to a couple content creators and saying, hey, what do you think about like for every 20 nodes that you refer, you get a free Valley node, and then. We're talking to LFG, we're like, what about 10? And then I forget who it was, it might have been Elijah, and he's like, what about 5? So we're just like, yeah, let's do it. Let's try it out. So that's what we're going with. The first 5 referred, you get a Valley node yourself, and then it goes to the next 10, and then the next 15, and then the next 20, and then it stays at 20 forever. So then we figured out for community members that it's attainable, I think for anyone to get that first 5, and then it's also good for if you're a content creator, if you wanted to as well. Yeah,
nice. That's fantastic. I think that this is you're using our referral tag, right, for this?
We are, yes.
Yeah, awesome.
Great.
Awesome. Good. I'm quite pleased with that. It's pretty seamless. Do you want to share the URL here so people know where to go?
Yeah, man. Let's see.
Node.valleyecosystem.com, but make sure you use a referral code because that 5% in public sale comes from the referral code.
Nice. A really cool thing that I don't think we've talked about much is that the nodes themselves will also grant. Well, first off, they become NFTs immediately upon purchase, which is awesome. Good job. That's really cool. We love that.
You weren't a fan of the 4-year NFT node to NFT timeline?
We
don't want to do it that way.
But we went with the instant. Yeah. That's great.
Good call.
Yeah. And then there is a 90-day locking period on that. So there's 90 days before you can trade if you choose so. But you will see it in your wallet immediately as an NFT, which is awesome. And then in terms of I forget where I was going with that. The NFT. Oh yes. So another cool thing is that the NFT will give you a license to build your own DIY cabinet if you so choose. Yes, and this one was something that we kind of added as we were talking to a lot of different people. What that means is that we are going to have, our physical upright cabinets that will be for businesses. You can purchase those as an individual as well, from Fun Company when those become available, and we are pushing to get those available as soon as possible. The only downside with working with like the top tier cabinet designers is they have, oh, there you go, is they have tons of orders coming through, but we're still looking for end of October for that. And you can purchase those, the ones that would be sold to the venues. We're looking at like a $5,000 price point, which is in line with newer indie cabinets. Those cabinets that you'd play at the venue, you would earn at a higher rate. And that was key for us because we wanted to be like, what's the reason that you would go to the arcade? If you're earning on the higher rate through the cabinets from the global leaderboard there, that's how we think we can attract people to come in and get some like fervor back and like excitement to the actual arcades. That being said, you can still play and earn at home as well. But that's kind of why I brought up that the node owners have a license, one per node, to potentially build your own cabinet. The cost for building that cabinet would be on you, but you do have the license so that if you say built your own DIY cabinet and customize it however you want, that would also earn at the higher rate, the same rate that it does at the arcade. So that's like a cool thing that we wanted to tell everyone about.
At some point in time, I think we need to have a cabinet competition. I would love to see what kind of wacky ass cabinets people create.
Yeah.
I have always wanted, since I was like 13 or 14, I've always wanted to build a massive, insane steampunk style arcade cabinet.
I have a Pinterest of like, this is from like 15 years of all these crazy arcade cabinets. I'll have to send it to you. Yeah, that's steampunk would be cool.
Now, I know I purchased several cabinets from you guys for placement in various places. Where are those going? Do we know where those are going yet?
We do not, but we are thinking one will be in Singapore, one will be in Dubai, one will be in Vancouver, and one will potentially be in Jason's house. But that's up to you.
I would love that. I would love that. I do have a big office in my house. It's pretty cool. It needs a cabinet.
Nice. Yeah, we also did I did a like whirlwind tour of. I was trying to go to 12 venues. I think I made 9 just in New York City. This was like a week or two ago. I ended up walking over 8.5 miles, which I don't do that normally, not even close. But met with like 14 different venue owners and managers. They were like so excited, most of them, about this idea, which I kind of thought I would be like kind of having to sell a little bit to them. And they were like, please tell us about this, because arcade venue owners, whether it's a bar, a gaming lounge, what have you, they want to try the new thing to bring people in, because it just makes sense for them. And so I didn't even have to sell it. They were like, give me the card. Like whenever this goes live, like send it to us. We're going to do this. Really cool thing where we partnered up, which is something I can talk about, with a brewery, KCBC Brewery, which they're an awesome brewery in New York City, and their cans designs are really cool. Just check them out, KCBC. They're going to make a beer for Flutter, which is one of our games, as well as a beer for Alien Influencer, and it will be branded and wrapped. So I'll definitely send you guys some of those, but that's awesome. And we're going to try to have each bar that has one of these cabinets to carry those as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds absolutely fantastic, man. Let's see. How can people part of the community here, the Valley ecosystem community?
Yeah, so our Discord would be the best way. We also are on Twitter. We have put some things up on YouTube. But I would say get into our Discord. You can purchase a node, of course, and that starts here in 30 minutes. That would be kind of the most direct way to participate. But we also have a tournament called Flutter, a game called Flutter that we're running a tournament for, free to play on mobile, PC, and Mac, no download required. And you can start playing that right now. We've got it going for 4 more days. So you've got a little bit of time left on that. And that'll really like your first opportunity to earn Valley if you can place on the top 50. It's been awesome to watch everyone in our Discord.
I'm not anywhere near accomplished or talented enough to place it. Well, really, honestly, anywhere. I think I have the personal record for lowest score on Flutter. I think my score was 9.
That's right. I think someone got 0.
Oh well,
which I didn't think was possible.
That's magical.
Yeah.
That's freaking. It's a fun game. It's a fun game, and I really want to play the UFO one. I've seen that. That looks really cool. I'd love to get it on that one of these days.
Yeah, we are. That's gonna be really cool game, and our developers are putting in so much time, and that the next time we show that off, I think people are gonna be really happy. It's gonna feel and look quite different, and I'm super excited. Yeah. Oh, sorry. One other thing I just forgot is when you asked about how they can be involved. We're gonna have Discord games that go live that our lead developer has been creating, and you'll actually be able to earn Valley playing those Discord games. So we're trying to have make it as fun and light and easy to be involved as possible.
Now, crazy idea. Have you considered Telegram tappers? Just checking if it's a thing that you wanted to look at.
I could kind of see Flutter working on Telegram, right? Just press.
Dude, it actually would.
It could.
It would actually work. No, I
have to write down controls, but
I give people shit about that one, but there is definitely a space in the industry for those. I just know that they're I've seen some fun memes lately. Let's put it that way.
You know what? I think you're right. It's kind of amazing, like how fast they've caught on, and they're like ubiquitous. Whoever thought of that, like they cracked the code. I don't know.
Yeah, there's more coming. I'm pretty, and I don't mean more coming in terms of the Gala ecosystem or anything like that. I mean, I'm sure that there are, but I don't mean that. I spent a lot of time in Singapore talking to a lot of game developers and ecosystems and things like that, and there are more Telegram and Telegram-like things coming that are new platforms for games like that. So I think that gaming is actually going to be changing here a little bit more in the near future.
I mean, that is a good point. Like, could we port Flutter, like a fairly simple game? I think, yeah. I'll
100%.
Yeah. All right. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool.
100%. Now I want to. So we've got about a little bit more than 10 minutes. Until the time runs out. But I wanted to kind of open the floor a little bit to the community for questions on the Valley ecosystem. Excuse me. Questions on the Valley ecosystem. What are people saying in Discord? I'm unfortunately on my phone, so I can't see shit. So I'm going to be depending on Neff and Good Paul to flag any things that are coming through the chat, so they can be kicked around here. And this is primarily Johnny's show here. I'm not going to be answering questions unless there's something that directly requires me to get involved. So what do we got?
Let me scroll up through Discord and see.
I'm looking for the first time right now as well. Let's see here.
Is there a limit on how many nodes they can buy at once? Suresh said 100. Is that, can we verify 100. That? 100.
Yep, that is correct. Yeah, and that
go
is
bonkers and get 100 at a time.
Yeah, we really decided to do that. That was for decentralization purposes. We didn't want anyone to have more than 1% of the available nodes, which this is 10,000. So decentralization was really kind of the key for every decision that we made. and that's part of that. Yeah, and that's why we didn't. We did a fair mint. Is that what it's called? Where we didn't mint any tokens for the Valley team. That was also a decentralization play. So we're trying. Our business is based in New York, which for a crypto company, this might be getting too into things, but whatever, is very unlikely or very unusual.
Run away!
We kind of leaned into it a little bit. We were like, well, let's just do everything 100% by the books as possible. And it's been nice. It's like been nice to have that limit. It's kind of like an artist who like limits their rule set. So then it kind of focuses you. But the good thing for everyone is like, like we're going to be doing things as decentralized and by the book as possible.
And just as just as a quick comment for people, because I'm sure there's somebody, even if they're not typing it in the chat, which they very well could be, they're thinking like 100 nodes, like that's ridiculous. There are companies out there that their entire job is putting cabinets in places, and they would need many of these things to be able to do that effectively. So that's one thing to keep in mind there with that. This is not you just running a VPS with a bunch of shit on it. You're actually, hopefully at the end of the day, going to be doing these things and deploying them, all over the world.
100%.
Talking about that, there is a question. The node license gives you the node gives you the license to build a cabinet, right? Any chance of having like mini cabinets? Are there different types of models, like full standing, tabletop, different types of models for?
Great question. Yeah. So for the node owners, if you decide to build your own cabinet, you can go nuts. You can build whatever you'd like. That could be, a tabletop. That could be a cabinet that's the size of a house. Go crazy. For the official Valley cabinets that will be, marketing to, it'll be B2B, but a consumer can 100% purchase these as well. We're starting off with our full upright Valley cabinet, and that's the one that'll be priced around $5,000. We are also talking to Fun Company about a tabletop version. So that one would be still have the same earning as the upright, but it would be smaller footprint, easier to transport if that's something you chose to do, and be more affordable than the upright. So that won't come until after the upright cabinet.
Needs to be like we need a shower model, one that you can like sink in your shower and display, as a touch screen.
That's exactly.
I mean, if we're gonna do that, Neff, I mean, we also need to have a built-in, cup holder so you can put your shower beer in there while you play your arcade games. I mean,
or your Monster. You just put your
yeah. I mean, I'm not a savage. I don't drink Monster in the shower.
Okay. Just making sure. I mean, we do have a certain limit, baseline that you have to maintain. We established it's not 0.3 per hour. So
yeah, no, it's way more than that. Yeah.
Another question.
Really cool. Actually, last thing on that is gaming lounges, which have been popular in Asia for a while, and we think that these cabinets will do really well in Asia. In New York, they have been popping up everywhere in the city in the last 1 to 3 years, and then now I'm starting to see them going all throughout the U.S. So, gaming lounges where it's a bunch of PCs and people are playing esports in there. But each one of those gaming lounges typically has 1 to 5 physical cabinets, and those owners have been the most receptive to this, because I think it kind of ticks off that tournament high score leaderboard. They're maybe a little bit more understanding of the crypto element as well, and their patrons are really into it. So that we could have more Valley cabinets in gaming lounges potentially than any other family entertainment centers or arcade bars, movie theaters, bowling alleys, things like that, where Jason, you were asking earlier about where the 4 cabinets that LFG had purchased initially, and those we were thinking Vancouver, Singapore, Dubai, and your place, but and then that could be for wherever you'd like to take it. But for we also have 4 locations. Happy Valley Arcade Bar, which is the arcade bar that my wife and I own in Beacon, New York, as well as a movie theater arcade bar in Hudson, New York, which it's going to be going into, a really cool indie arcade bar in Bushwick in Brooklyn, and then another one that will probably be in Connecticut by early next year. But then once the sale of the cabinets goes live, that's when we can't say for sure, but we think we're going to get like a huge influx on day one of those when that happens in a month or so for those physical cabinets. And for gaming lounges, if we have the tabletop version, we're gonna focus on saying, hey, buy 10 of these tabletops cabinets. So that's when those node licenses, like you'll really see why we have the number that we have.
Nice. I love that. I love that idea.
I have another question. Maybe without getting maybe too into the weeds, Subspace asked, because these are online games, is there any issue with latency? Any ways you've had to solve that specifically? And will there be multiplayer games? I know the answer to that second part, but maybe you want to elaborate.
Definitely multiplayer games. I'm not a developer, so our lead dev Shirish could probably answer this better than I can. But from how I understand it, is the only connection would be at the beginning. There's no latency because the games aren't like running online. That's how it's been explained to me. So yeah, don't have to worry about latency.
Awesome, good to hear. Going through chat. If anybody has any other questions, drop them in chat.
Good, Paul, do we happen to be seeing anything coming across Restream on that, by the way? Anything from YouTube or Twitch or... Okay, excellent. You guys can't hear Good Paul. We need to have like a allow Good Paul to speak button so that when we ask a question, he can, come over the top of things. I think that's important. I still think
it has to be on our end. He can't do it on his end. He controls everything else. We have to be like, yes, we all consent to you speaking now, Paul.
Show of hands. Awesome. Well, dude, I'm super excited about what you have going on here. I know that it's been a long time coming. You've been working really hard. You've been looking at all sorts of technical solutions. I know you guys have been looking at as important parts of the Gala ecosystem for a long time. You've been looking at GalaChain and great community and all of that. But what you guys are creating and have created, in fact, I think is really cool, really unique, and generally speaking, just a very special thing in the Web 2 or Web 3 worlds. Which, by the way, I tweeted about this earlier today, and the inestimable Jesus Martinez agreed with me on this. I think we just go straight to Web 5. Web 2 plus 3 is 5, so we're just going straight to Web 5 now, guys. So this is a great Web 5 solution, and I can't wait to see it out there and to play one of these things in person.
Oh, I really appreciate the kind words, Jason. Yeah, we have been working so hard. It's been like humbling to see how many people. I was talking to the developer of Qbert, and he's like, "Let me know when you get your platform up, and we can try to get Qbert on this." And it's just like, it's just crazy how so many people have been into the idea. I think for most people, it's just like a global leaderboard with arcade style games. It just like harkens back to a lot of people's memories of that, and that's what we're trying to do here. And I think it's been going at a pace that has been much faster than we were anticipating. But the cool thing is, like, the opportunities that have sprung from that have been many of them like not something that we could foresee in terms of like where you guys are going to see one of these cabinets like near you very soon. So that's really cool.
I like that. I like that. Well, can you guys can you throw the link up there again, good Paul, so that people know where to go? Look at that. That's nice. We need to make that look nicer. That's kind of like oh, there we go. Okay, we got the confetti.
That was exactly the contrast needed.
Perfect. It is creeping up on 3 a.m. here, guys. I'm gonna hop off here pretty soon, but I just wanted to thank all of you for coming in and listening, and Johnny and Neff for being here and being part of this. Is there anything that you would like to say to everyone before we wrap it up?
If you'd like to be involved at this point, and purchase a Valley node, that'd be the first way to get into the system, like directly. You can also play Flutter for free right now. That's another great way. Yeah, we'll see you at the arcade.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. And this has been Jason Bitbender Brink with LFG and Johnny at the Valley Ecosystem. We will catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out.
Guys.